In 1976, New York City became the backdrop for a provocative shift in ancient history interpretation, when author and researcher Zecharia Sitchin published The 12th Planet, drawing from 3 decades of meticulous analysis of Sumerian cuneiform tablets. Sitchin proposed a theory that would ignite both fascination and skepticism. The so-called gods of ancient Mesopotamia, the Anunnaki, were not mythological deities but extraterrestrial beings who arrived on Earth over 450,000 years ago. Sitchin's translation suggested that these visitors played a foundational role in human origins. According to his interpretation, the Anunnaki engineered humankind, later witnessing and perhaps even orchestrating its near annihilation through a catastrophic flood. Central to this hypothesis was the claim that their mission was driven by desperation, a planetary crisis unfolding on their homeworld, Nibiru, allegedly located within our solar system. The deteriorating atmosphere of Nibiru compelled them to travel to Earth in search of gold, a mineral they believed could restore balance to their environmental system. This quest was not without hardship. Faced with the laborious task of gold extraction, the Anunnaki are said to have created a subservient species to bear the burden: humans. The process, described in ancient texts, was both arduous and experimental. Early humans were not divine accidents, but rather deliberate constructs, designed in the image and likeness of their creators. While mainstream academia largely dismissed Sitchin's assertions, his work found a powerful echo among ancient astronaut theorists. To these researchers, the ancient texts offered not myths but historical records encoded in the oldest form of written language. The clay tablets from the ruins of Nineveh, discovered in 1842 by British archaeologist Austin Henry Layard in present-day Iraq, form the backbone of this narrative. The library of Ashurbanipal, containing thousands of these cuneiform records dating back to 3000 BCE, speaks of gods who mingled with humans, shaped their genetic makeup and influenced civilization's earliest steps. In these writings, the Anunnaki are depicted not only as giants, towering nearly 8 feet tall, but also as bearers of advanced technology. Artistic depictions show them flanking the Tree of Life, adorned with symbolic jewelry suggesting astronomical knowledge, moons, stars, and even what some interpret as ancient timepieces. Their emblem, the winged disc, implies mastery of flight, perhaps even travel through cosmic gateways or wormholes. Interpretations of the tablets speak of a dramatic and deeply complex relationship between these beings and early humans. Some suggest Earth served not only as a mining colony, but as a planetary base for a broader agenda. This reimagining of the past invites reflection on familiar stories, such as the biblical account of Adam and Eve, raising the possibility that such tales may be echoes of a much older legacy. Whether viewed through the lens of faith, myth, or science fiction, the Anunnaki story endures as a provocative challenge to conventional understandings of human origins. There is a recurring idea throughout early human history that mysterious advanced beings served as instructors to ancient civilizations. In the myths and traditions of the Sumerians, for example, accounts frequently describe enigmatic figures descending from the heavens to impart knowledge, technological understanding, and philosophical insight. While mainstream academics often regard such tales as metaphor or myth, a deeper exploration suggests these narratives may hint at something more profound, perhaps an intentional influence by non-human intelligences aiming to guide early humanity's development. This theme isn't confined to Mesopotamia. Across the globe, ancient texts speak of divine or cosmic origins of human faculties. The Quran attributes the origin of language to a divine source, Allah. Similarly, the Popol Vuh, a sacred Mayan text, declares that language was a gift from the gods. Ancient Egyptian writings echo this claim. Such remarkable consistency across disparate cultures raises a compelling question. Were these civilizations independently imagining the same divine origin, or were they describing real encounters with beings from beyond Earth? Long before written language emerged, early humans etched symbols and figures into stone, petroglyphs, that communicated meaning through visual representation. Some of the oldest known petroglyphs, dating back between 10,000 and 12,000 years, are found in the American Southwest and are attributed to the ancestors of the Zuni and Hopi tribes. These carvings depict figures with radiant crowns or halos, often interpreted as beings descending from the sky. Within Hopi tradition, these entities are known as Kachinas, visitors from the stars who traveled in flying craft. These beings were not considered gods in the traditional sense, but rather celestial travelers who shared knowledge from distant worlds. Strikingly similar imagery has been found in other parts of the world, such as Val Camonica in Italy, various Asian rock sites, and Brazilian petroglyph fields. These cultural parallels, emerging independently yet telling nearly identical stories, suggest a global phenomenon. The legends describe otherworldly visitors shaping the destinies of early human groups in remarkably synchronized time periods. Such consistency is difficult to dismiss as coincidence. In France's Lascaux Caves, a Paleolithic site discovered in 1940, the ancient art adorning the cave walls dates back over 17,000 years. Among the vivid portrayals of Ice Age animals, one figure stands out, a hybrid being with a bird's head and a human body. Known as a therianthrope, from the Greek therion, wild beast, and anthropos, man, this figure defies ordinary explanation. Anthropologists propose that ancient shamans, entering deep trances during ritual ceremonies, encountered these beings in altered states of consciousness and later illustrated their visions on cave walls. The Birdman of Lascaux bears a remarkable resemblance to Thoth, the ibis-headed Egyptian god of wisdom and writing, and also parallels the Sumerian depictions of the Anunnaki, sky deities linked to creation myths. The striking commonality between visionary experiences and mythological archetypes across continents prompts a tantalizing question. Were early shamans and mystics accessing a shared spiritual or interdimensional realm populated by the same intelligent entities revered by ancient civilizations? These recurring motifs across indigenous cultures, each reporting encounters with similar non-human beings during dreams, trances, or rituals, point toward a possibility that cannot be easily dismissed. According to proponents of the ancient astronaut theory, these experiences might not be hallucinations or symbolic representations, but rather interactions with real intelligences, beings who acted as teachers to humanity, laying the foundation for civilization. Around 40,000 years ago, a profound transformation occurred in human cognition and behavior. This shift is marked archaeologically by the sudden appearance of sophisticated cave art, symbolic thinking, and ritual practice. It was as though humanity experienced an awakening, one perhaps sparked or accelerated by contact with intelligences beyond our world. While definitive answers remain elusive, the consistency of these global traditions suggests that something extraordinary happened in our distant past, something that helped shape the trajectory of human evolution. In 1849, during an archaeological expedition to the ancient city of Nineveh in modern-day Iraq, Austin Henry Layard uncovered an astonishing cache of cuneiform tablets that would transform modern understanding of early civilizations. Among the ruins of the Assyrian king Sennacherib's palace and later the palace of his grandson Ashurbanipal, thousands of inscribed clay tablets were found, between 20,000 and 30,000 in total, documenting everything from administrative records to mythological epics. These discoveries ignited worldwide fascination with Mesopotamian history and its cultural legacies. Among the texts recovered was the Enuma Elish, a Babylonian creation epic likely composed in the 11th century BCE. Though its origins may stretch back much further, it describes a cosmic narrative centered around Marduk, a god who forms humanity by combining divine blood with clay, a symbolic fusion of the earthly and the celestial. This act of creation, deeply poetic yet strangely technical, invites comparisons to later religious texts, such as the Genesis account of Adam. The Mesopotamian version, however, offers layers of detail that suggest a more complex understanding of human origins. Some researchers interpret these stories through a purely mythological lens, viewing them as ancient humanity's attempts to explain existence through narrative. Yet others, particularly proponents of the ancient astronaut theory, propose a radically different interpretation. They suggest that these stories are not myths, but encoded historical records of advanced beings, referred to as the Anunnaki, who visited Earth in the distant past. According to this perspective, the Anunnaki were tangible flesh and blood entities, not ethereal deities. They are said to have descended from the heavens, possibly in spacecraft, bringing with them not only technology, but also a sophisticated understanding of genetics. These beings allegedly engage in experiments aimed at producing a subservient human species. Through numerous trials blending their own DNA with that of early hominids, they are believed to have engineered a functional and intelligent being, humankind, as it is known today. This hypothesis challenges the traditional view of spontaneous human evolution and suggests a deliberate intervention in the development of human intelligence. Further support for this theory is drawn from comparative mythology and archaeology across the globe. In regions as distant as Sierra Leone, Mali, Japan, and Mesopotamia, cultures share strikingly similar motifs: gods from the sky, dragon-like beings, and mysterious humanoid figurines. The Dogon tribe of Mali, for instance, possesses astronomical knowledge of the Sirius star system, knowledge they claim was gifted to them by celestial visitors. Artifacts such as the Nomoli statues of Sierra Leone deepen the mystery. Local legend holds that these stone figures fell from the sky along with their gods, accompanied by unusual blue stones, said to be fragments of the sky itself. Known as sky stones, these enigmatic minerals have baffled researchers with their unknown composition and unexplained origin. Some speculate that they could be remnants of extraterrestrial technology, perhaps fragments of a spacecraft's protective hull or thermal shield. In recent years, collectors and researchers have begun analysing these sky stones more closely. One such individual, Jared Collins, has gathered several specimens and remains captivated by their otherworldly properties. Despite analysis, the stones defy conventional categorization, neither clearly geological nor synthetic. Their presence near the Nomoli statues, along with the oral traditions that accompany them, adds another layer to the theory that ancient extraterrestrial visitors may have influenced not only human genetics, but also the mythologies and artifacts left behind. Whether interpreted as myth, misunderstood history, or evidence of an alien past, these ancient texts and artifacts challenge the boundaries between archaeology, cosmology, and belief. They urge modern humanity to reconsider the origins of civilization and to remain open to the possibility that the answers may lie not only beneath the Earth, but beyond the stars. In 1991, an unusual discovery emerged during a mining expedition in Sierra Leone, led by prospector David Ledbetter. While exploring the area under a mining concession in search of gold and diamonds, his team encountered peculiar stones that intermittently surfaced during excavation. Curious about their nature, Ledbetter approached the local village chief, who recounted a long-standing observation. The appearance of these strange stones often heralded the imminent discovery of gold and diamonds nearby. Despite being submitted to a dozen independent laboratories for analysis, the origins of the stones remain unresolved. Scientists and geologists could not reach a consensus. Some proposed natural formation, others suggested possible artificial origins, and a few even entertained the notion of extraterrestrial provenance. The ambiguity surrounding these objects has only deepened their mystery. Far from Sierra Leone, in the high desert of New Mexico, lies the pueblo of Zuni, inhabited by one of North America's oldest indigenous tribes. With a lineage stretching back nearly 2,000 years, the Zuni people have preserved their cultural traditions with exceptional secrecy. Among their most guarded knowledge are teachings related to the stars, cosmological narratives passed down through generations, largely unshared until recent decades. Much of the Zuni's ancestral history is preserved in the desert stones themselves. Petroglyphs etched into the rock tell stories of beings from the sky, celestial visitors believed to be the tribe's ancient guides and protectors. Tribal elder Clifford Mahuti and archaeologist Dan Simplicio have dedicated their lives to studying this sacred iconography. Their interpretations suggest many figures depict star people, otherworldly entities who shaped Zuni spiritual systems and instructed early inhabitants. These petroglyphs often feature enigmatic forms, dome-headed figures, flared facial features. To the Zuni, such imagery is not merely symbolic. These figures are regarded as accurate representations of celestial beings witnessed in the distant past. The beings are believed to originate from the upper world, synonymous with outer space across the Atlantic, in Italy's Val Camonica. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, ancient astronaut theorist William Henry explored this expansive valley. Henry examined carvings that bear a striking resemblance to modern depictions of astronauts. Helmeted figures with radiant forms echo the visual language of space travel. These carvings have long puzzled scholars. could ancient peoples have encountered visitors from the stars? Archaeologists have long puzzled over the distinctive communion rose. Though its original purpose remains obscure, alternative interpretations propose the image may represent an otherworldly craft. The symbol bears resemblance to a rotating aerial vehicle. These rock carvings seem to hint at visitors from beyond Earth. Particularly intriguing is a five-pointed star embedded in the rock art. In ancient belief systems, such stars signify energy of distant celestial beings. This motif could be a cosmic message recording an extraordinary encounter. Legends surrounding Turin link the city's founding to Phaethon. Phaethon arrives on Earth in a fiery chariot. This arrival marked the beginning of cultural transmission, teaching vital skills. These myths might reflect actual events encoded in narrative. The rock art may not be imaginative, but descriptive. Depictions of phenomena observed in the sky, these images continue to provoke debate about extraordinary encounters. Meanwhile, in a remote valley of northwestern Mali, the Dogon people preserve traditions that echo these ancient narratives. Descended from migrants who may have fled Egypt due to religious persecution, the Dogon have safeguarded a vast repository of symbolic knowledge. Some scholars argue that their beliefs represent a living thread to the distant legacy of ancient Egypt. Central to Dogon cosmology is the story of Amma, a celestial creator deity, and Nommo, the first living being. According to their oral history, Nommo fragmented after his creation, one fragment defying Amma's will, leading to a cosmic retribution and a scattering of essence across the world. One account tells of a fiery descent where a godlike figure arrived from the sky, riding a vessel enveloped in flame and tempest. Even today, the Dogon commemorate Nommo's arrival with elaborate rituals. During these ceremonies, dancers wear wooden masks, sacred artifacts said to originate from the time of Nommo's visitation. These masks, intricately carved, transmit ancestral knowledge across generations, telling of divine contact and cosmic order. Curiously, the Dogon's spiritual iconography shares striking features with Egyptian mythology. Just as Nommo was believed to be born of the sky deity Amma, the pharaoh Akhenaten claimed descent from Aten, the solar disk. Both figures are often portrayed with elongated skulls, raising questions about shared cultural memories or perhaps shared experiences. A particularly puzzling detail concerns the Dogon's astronomical knowledge. They revere a star they call Potolo, located in the Sirius system. This corresponds with Sirius B, a white dwarf invisible to the unaided human eye and not discovered by Western astronomy until the 20th century. The Dogon have known of its existence for centuries, prompting speculation. How did such knowledge arise in a pre-technological society? The transmission of this wisdom was, for many years, confined to the Dogon priesthood, who selectively entrusted it to visitors deemed worthy. In the 1920s, French researchers Marcel Griaule and Germain Dieterlen were among the first outsiders to be granted access to this sacred knowledge. What they uncovered pointed to a profound cosmology and an unbroken legacy of star-born mythologies. Whether interpreted as spiritual allegories or historical accounts of contact with non-terrestrial beings, the Dogon traditions, and those of ancient Europe, continue to challenge assumptions about the past. These enduring myths and symbols may yet reveal untold truths about humanity's connection to the stars. The knowledge possessed by the Dogon people of Mali regarding the Sirius star system has long baffled scientists and historians alike. Central to this enigma is their awareness of Sirius B, a white dwarf star invisible to the naked eye and unobservable even with standard telescopes until the late 20th century. Despite this, Dogon oral tradition had for generations described a companion star orbiting Sirius A with remarkable accuracy. Scientific observations using the Hubble Space Telescope in 2003 confirmed that Sirius B is indeed a white dwarf, an extraordinarily dense stellar remnant. Though smaller in diameter than Earth, its mass is estimated to be 8 times greater than that of the Sun. Such characteristics render it virtually undetectable without advanced astronomical instruments, making its presence largely unknown until photographic evidence emerged in the 1970s. Yet the Dogon cosmology included detailed references not only to Sirius B, but also to its orbit around Sirius A. They represented this with a symbol depicting a circular trajectory, effectively forming an astronomical model that mirrors modern scientific understanding. This level of precision presents a profound mystery. How could an ancient non-technological society possess such advanced astrophysical insight? The idea that this knowledge originated purely through terrestrial means becomes increasingly difficult to sustain in light of the Dogon's claim that a being named Nommo imparted these teachings. Some theorists have speculated that this figure may have represented an entity of extraterrestrial origin, one capable of conveying sophisticated astronomical information far ahead of its time. Whether metaphorical or literal, the Dogon narrative continues to challenge contemporary perceptions of history, science, and the limits of human knowledge. If you found this exploration fascinating, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of ancient knowledge, science, and the unexplained. Thanks for watching and stay curious.